go.
Welcome, Fantasy Degenerates. It's week 10 in your shit bomb league that I know nothing about. Robbie, start it out or do something. I don't know. I mean, lead the way.
All right. Well, obviously every week I do the video mainly by myself. Ask for special guests every week, and nobody shows up. So I brought in a random guest. This is Waylon James, and he is going to tell you how it is in our league as an unbiased host.
Uh-huh.
So why don't we go bottom to top here in the power rankings? Who do you have at the bottom at number 10?
Well, I think that's pretty easy. It's David English. David, you're 1-8. I mean, you're pretty much at the cum dumpster of the league. I mean, what else is there to say? So.
I agree. I mean, there's not much to say about Dave. He's obviously trying. I talked to him on Monday, and he wants to be good, but he's just not good. So he's number 10.
Keep swallowing.
All
So number 9, it looks like we have Jason. Jason, word is that you hoard players throughout the year. That's usually, players actually picks, which I think is an interesting concept.
Yeah.
And
he's got a few draft picks for next year already.
Yeah. Hanukkah's coming up soon, so.
So the Jew hoards picks, and maybe next year he'll be good.
Yeah, good luck to you, Jason.
But he's not making the playoffs. That's the bottom line, right?
Yeah, I agree. So number 8, we have Anus. Anus, Rodgers went out for you this week. He's done. You still have MJD on your bench. He's just what I would call old ball, smacking up against your anus at this point. That's why you're at 8, and it's going to get a lot worse for you. Might be cum dumpster level pretty soon with English.
Yeah, you may be right there with David. But, we'll move on to number 7. That's Jeff Sedan.
Sedan. So, with Sedan, I think you are probably one of the most underachieving teams in the league at this point. You really, I think, at this point, to get better, you just need to change your name to some kind of dick name like the top 2 in the league are at this point. So that's the only advice I can give you at this point.
That's true. Mr. Cock and Team Donger are in the top of the league, and if Saddam turned his name into some sort of dick name, he may be up there as well. The trouble he runs into this week is Tom Brady on bye, but at least he has a capable quarterback in Andrew Luck to kind of at least absorb some of those points.
Yeah, Luck will give you at least 20. I mean, that's
but
what he's...
it really depends on his matchup this week, and obviously here throughout the next 4, if he's going to make that jump into the top 4. But being at 7, it's going to be hard to do.
And at number 6, we have Robbie, who I think, as of right now, with having Matthews and RG3, they're both flakes, and that's probably, why you're at number 6. Believing in them is an absolute joke at this point.
Yeah, I agree. Starting out at 5-1, it was really some sort of false confidence at that point. I knew I didn't belong at that level, but I was accepting it. And at this point,
Robbie, it's not a therapy session, man.
I see myself on the outside looking in, and that's probably going to be the case. So I accept that. And let's just move on to number 5. Let's just move on to number 5.
But we have Camden. Camden, I'm telling you right now, since Rodgers went out, you might as well just trade Jordy Nelson at this point. He's going to be worthless. His daddy is out. You're at number 5. In order to get into the playoffs and into that top 4, that's going to need to happen, buddy.
Camden, we talk about this every week. You're on the cusp. We've talked about your draft strategy, how it went. And I think that it's gone pretty much the way we thought it would go. You are a borderline contender. You're worried about injuries. But in the end, are you going to make it? I don't know.
Actually, you are going to make it because let's just talk about the number 14, which I think is Keith. Keith, I think your whole team is junk by looking at it, by the way. And as the snow comes, your team will fall apart. Camden replaces you. Get over it.
You don't like the Denver Broncos?
Absolutely not. They'll start to fall apart.
Do you think Peyton Manning gets sat in the last few weeks?
No, but you're out of the top 4.
All right.
Living in the Broncos, so.
Bold statement. He's got 5 starting legit Broncos, and he's out?
Yep.
He's out.
Camden's replacing you.
All right, Camden, you're in.
So at number 3, we have, which I would call at this point right now, my favorite team to win the championship in your league this year, Robbie, is Teddy. Yes, Teddy.
Living the dream, Teddy. He is living the dream, right?
Dream's a reality, man. At this point, you have Zach Stacy, who I think is an absolute beast. I think he is what you needed to be able to put yourself into that elite status. You don't have some kind of dick name attached to you. It's simple. I'm living a dream, but like I said, it's reality, and Stacy's taking you there.
And a good point about Stacy is what I like to tell Teddy is, you know, Stacy had a great week last week, an absolute bomb-ass week. And at this point, who is Teddy going to keep on his roster for next year? Stacy's the only option, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you got a free keeper next year in a round 16 pick. So keep that in mind.
At number 2, we have Donger. I see you losing this week, Sauter. You have a lot of unfavorable matchups, which leaves you with a loss and cold and lonely.
Cold and lonely Sauter. But, you know, at this point, he's got a great record. His team is capable enough. Obviously, it's shown that Jake McCown can play with Forte and Marshall. He relies a lot on those Bears players, and I think they will carry him at least for the next couple of weeks to at least get enough wins to get in. Is he going to win the championship? I'm not going to go that far, but he will be in.
And then we move on to who is number 1 at this point, Mr. Cock, who I really actually believe who is probably one of the most overrated teams in your league, Robbie. This week he will go down due to having Charles on the bench. That means you will have a little flaccid penis there, buddy. But at this point, Teddy is going to replace you at some point. Get over it. It's going to happen. You know, dick can't stay hard forever.
It's true. I mean, Ben Shuttlecock, Matt Taylor, has done a hell of a job this year. And if you're going to get anybody that hated fantasy football before to get into fantasy, it's having the best record in the league. And now he's in 100%, and here's where reality sets in. Fantasy is not always sunshine and lollipops. There can be rough spots, and your rough spots are ahead of you, Matt. You will make the playoffs, but you will not hold the coveted trophy. I will say that much.
Yeah, keep sucking on the lollipops. All right, well, that's it. I think that takes care of our top 10. So until next week, one of you people that participate in this league better show up because
that he doesn't even know. So
yeah, I'm busy.
All right. Well, remember, if it's fantasy, I don't even know how the saying goes.
Shut the damn thing off.
Yep. See you later. Week 11 next week. Where's my guest at? Where's my guest at?